Okay, here we are. We are back, and welcome to the first video of 2026. And I've been playing around, trying some things. So I got some flat styrene here. Been trying a few different styles, how to make cones. I looked all around. Wish I would have had like a model airplane, like a jet or something. Just use the nose cone off of that. But I went to my local Dollarama and they had these plastic champagne flutes. So I was like, that looks a lot like a jet plane nose cone, and it's around the right size. I need to cut this into quarters so I can have a piece on either side. So let's get rid of the stem first of all. Go, we got that. Okay, so now I gotta get the saber out. That's why I got the felt mat here. Cut this in half and then half again. So move this stuff out of the way, get the sonic saber out. While I'm doing that, let's roll the beautiful Starship footage and we'll get this ship show going. Okay, here we go. So I got my basic sort of a cone shape. We'll deal with the end and everything later. We've got this raised part that's sort of offset. Scoops around on an angle, so I'm going to try to cut that right down the center. Thankfully, that's where the molding seam is. So I kind of already have a line there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cheap shitty tape here, and I'm just gonna highlight that line so I can make my cut a little better. And we want to cut it right in half, so just go back up the other side. All right. Boop. Would be the best way to go about this. I don't want to try to cut all the way through right away because that melts the edges up like I did right there, and you get an ugly cut. But it is what it is. I can file and sand it. there we go. Got two fairly even pieces. Let's see, we'll line them up. Close enough. It's pretty good. All right, now let's get these ones cut in half. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go a little more than half. I want the piece to be large enough so that I can play around with it a bit. Plus it curves down back like this. So maybe it would be a good idea for me to put the, no, that'll go after. All right, let me just grab the little model. Okay, so this is kind of sitting on top. Well, it looks like it's sitting on top of this piece, but it's not. This one's butted up against it. But I'm wondering if it might be easier for me to put the little triangle piece in first, going right up against that, then add the side little shoulders, because then I don't have to deal with this contour. And I would have to make those go all the way up to here. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where it starts. No, I think I'm just gonna put that on same way as I did here. But the thing I did here was I made this whole U-shaped piece as one piece and then added that onto here. I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm just gonna do the little shoulder pieces and then I'll add to the end of it, right? So this is gonna kind of be something like that. Let's see if I can illustrate. So we're gonna kind of have something like this. That'll be gone. This will be on top or in between. I think that looks rather ducky. All right, let's see if we can get these trimmed up to their correct shape. All right, so I'm gonna go for right down the center, just so that I have equal pieces to deal with, so I can choose what I want to use. So we don't have a seam on this one, so I'll just have to eyeball it and do my best guesswork, which is usually pretty good. All right, let's get the electronic knife. Overlap there. Let's see. Look at that. Pretty good. Not bad. Well, that one was dramatic. Whoa. Easy now. Okay, so we got, go with the ones that have a larger little thingy here. And we'll make it go. All right, so let's see if this even shows up. Yeah. Okay, so that can be that way with the little bump pointing back, or it could be this way with the little bump pointing forward. I think it's kind of cool, makes it look more sort of streamlined. I think I like that. So we'll have it on either side like this, with that in the center. And so this isn't going right up against it like this, it goes up and then it gets a little wall in between. I think I need to get this piece attached onto here. I think that will probably help me out. It's got a little bit of melt over here from cutting it. Hey, where you going? Alright. So I need this to be able to glue into there. This material has a hard time, so what I'm going to do is just drill a bunch of little holes. And I'm going to hope that my super glue goes into those little holes and gets a grip on this sort of plastic. Kind of scuff up the side here. Give it something to grip onto. So we'll get this filled with glue. And I'll put a bunch on the inside of the lip here so it runs back down. Get this as straight as I can. Not a lot of material to lock onto, but if I can hold this here, now I may have to get my glue gun out and hot glue that and fill that. It's going to be all covered over anyways. Alright, here's my hot glue gun. It's this lighter right here and a glue stick. So we'll just melt this. I have an old glue gun, but it sucks. As soon as it gets hot, all the glue just pours out the tip constantly all over the desk or wherever you happen to have the thing sitting. And you know what? This is just as easy. I don't even have to wait as long for it to warm up. And I could probably use my heat gun to do this too, since I got a nice new heat gun for Christmas. But I will just do it like this. Alright, so I'm just gonna jam that right in there. Maybe it's not the most efficient way, but I don't feel like looking for the glue gun anyways. Yeah, so we've got a nice little connecting wall right there. Just let that dry. I wouldn't have been able to do that with the glue gun. Oh no, what have I done? Now I'm going to go all in, reinforce the nose of it here with this stuff. Look at that, now that it's drying, it's a nice solid little wall right there, connecting the two pieces. I think that'll be pretty secure. Ow, that's hot. Put that away. Alright, so the next thing to deal with is these tips here. These have to come off. I want them to be the same. Like so, and like so, and like so. This to go like that. Back in here. There we go. We got some shoulders coming down. Okay, so now we need inside pieces. So I'll keep this on the flat. Okay, so what I want to do is get this situated on here, leave enough at the end so that I can wrap it over the end right there. want that to remain flat. I wonder if the Tamiya is super thin. We'll do the trick for this, or the shot. I know it's going to work great on the gray stuff, but I don't know what it's going to do to the clear stuff. It's a different kind of plastic. So we'll see what happens. This is how we learn these things, I suppose. If I can let go, then it looks like it might be fine. Now, just for extra security, that's not going to be clear, it's going to all be painted, so I'm not worried about any fogging or anything like that. So I'm going to put some glue. I'll let this run all the way down, maybe a little more. That made it to the end. And then I'm just going to dump some of this right in here. And dump it out. And we've got a nice little reinforced joint there. I always like to reinforce my joints. If you think your joints are good enough, they're not. Reinforce them. Alright, so let's expose the cutting mat. So I'm going to use the back of my blade here to kind of carve it out. And then when I get to the open end, I'm just going to sort of trail off like that. Okay, so I guess I'll just kind of keep to the same contour as the bottom here. Alright, so we need a little bit of a bevel inside here, smooth it out a bit so that that can stick. Should have thought of that before putting it on. Let's see what we can do. There, I just had to kind of make that part a little bit curved. Gotta go in a bit more. see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna get enough grip to hold on. I need another hand so I can put the stuff in there. Okay, so I don't want to melt the clear part. I just want to warm this bit just enough. Soften it enough to sort of want to be there instead of trying to spring back. And I think I'll just go with the CA glue for this bit. But to me, I didn't want to seem to get a grip. Just hold it with the meat clamps for a second. So do a drop in there. Let it run in. Some of that. And done. That should be strong. Should be. Here's hoping, Billy. See? Just get rid of that corner. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of filing and sanding on this, so I want an extra reinforced corner. So I'm just going to go in with lots of this. Big drop. Let that run all the way to the end. And before it drips out, let it run back. Sort of level out. This goes to each end. Alright, so we can see we've got quite a thick corner now. It was a little thin right there, so there we go. So one more tube of this stuff empty, but that's okay. It's super cheap, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Alright, so there's one thing. Just this one thing. Wouldn't that be something? So what do we gotta do now is we gotta get at that contour of this right here. So I've gotta try to just guesstimate. Cut into here a little bit. Cut this out. And I'll try to pretty close. Pretty close. Alright, that's not bad alignment. I can live with that. Okay, so now I gotta try to duplicate that with this one. Or this one. Or where is it? this one. That's the one. So I can pretty much trace this now. What I'll do is I'll cut this part. And I'll leave a bit there so that I can glue, and then I'll just trim the excess off afterwards. Alright, so we're just going to do the same. Big blob of glue all the way down. Let it run. Gonna use lots. Then when it gets to the end, we run it back. Add some more. Let it run back. And we got a nice strong joint right there. Okay, flip it. Okay, so as we can see, I've got my two sections here. Pretty even. I didn't quite glue that square and straight on there, but that's okay. I can bend it in and secure that down in place. So I'm not exactly the same shape as I was here. This is sort of thicker at the front and then tapers back. I use these wine glass pieces here, so it's doing the exact opposite. I could probably turn this and orient it in a different way, but I think I can live with it flaring outwards like that towards the back. So what I gotta do is continue this around towards the back here. So what I did here was I just kind of made a little box inside that sort of hugs this bit. So I need this bit. I need this back piece here. So I'm going to need a fairly large cylinder. And I've got my crystal bit here. I can use that for the crystal part. But I need to build around the back part here, so I'm gonna need a cylinder before I go any further with these two bits. So let's see what I can find. Okay, I think I found something that'll work. Got this plastic bottle here. It's wider on one end, it tapers down towards the back, and we just gotta get rid of the little zip ties out of there. I can put those somewhere else. Peel the sticker away. So I'm going to want to cut the front end off. Okay, remove these. Okay, so we're about, it extends off the back, not that much, so I'm not going to need a lot of that. So I want to cut her about here because it's pretty thick. I think I want the bottom end. Probably about this much. And I want half of it. So I'm going to cut this down and then I'm going to cut it in half. First we'll see how long I want this. Go a little longer than I think, so then I can always cut more away. It's harder to add more. It doesn't like cutting this very much. Once you poke through, it's a little better. Gotta kind of work it. There we go. Got her cut in half. Made one side quite a bit bigger. I didn't cut down the center because then I can choose which piece I want. I think I'm gonna go with the thicker, bigger piece. So I want this on the inside like that. It's gonna come down, but I'm gonna put it on the outside so that I can get the outline of what I'm dealing with right here. So I'll try to trace it. So if I can cut this out nice enough, I should be able to butt it right up against there. And if not, then I still have enough left that I could go into there and glue it overlapping. Pretty good fit. That's not bad. You know, it fits real nice on the outside. I'm gonna put it on the outside. I'm gonna do the same thing I did here. Is I'm gonna make some little holes around this so that my glue bites into it. Well, there that went. Not bad, we're in pretty good shape right there. So once this sets a little bit, I'm gonna try to get some in this void part here and here, just to further cement it in place. Keep it nice and solid. Okay, there we go. We're all attached there. We're all reinforced. That should be a pretty solid seam there. I got myself a little pizza cutter, a big pizza cutter. got myself a big little pizza cutter. Alright, so now that I got that sorted out, next step is figuring out where these guys are going to be. So we're going to be right there. So I want it to be right up against where that's going to be my impulse engines. So I want it to kind of be right against it.